it's a film which is full of traces of some of his previous films, themes and characters, and all.
Yeah, there's a little bit of his personality in that character as well. I think, you know. Obviously, he's not quite as as grumpy as Walt Kowalski, but
he's very great.
There's a little bit of some of his sense of humor is in there, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, and it's also a film who deals, like some of other films of him, we deals with family issues and family connections, family ties. Really, in a way, a very strong way. For me, it kind of connects with Honky Tonky Man in that way, and also A Perfect World, $1 Million Baby. They're all films built around characters of father and sons, father and daughters issues. You played, for me, your name is always linked with the character of Honky Tonk.
Yeah, well,
sorry, just let me remind them that you were of course you work with your father making music for some of his films, but you were also directed by him when you were a teenager in Honky Tonk Man, and you co-starred with him this film.
Yeah, we did Honky Tonk Man a long time ago. But yeah, I did a little bit of work, a little bit of acting work with him over the years, but when I was a lot younger.
We are coming back to this film, but can you tell us a little bit about being directed by Clint Eastwood as a child?
Well, when we did Honky Tonk Man, it was being on the set with him was quite natural, because I mean I'd grown up with him over the years, watching him make movies since I can remember, really, you know. So I knew all the you know, most of the crew, and it was kind of like an extended family, more or less, you know. So yeah, it was comfortable for me to be on the set, you know, because I'd done it so many times before, I'd been around it so much before. But it was an enjoyable experience making the film with him, because it was the summer of 1982, and so we made the film during the summer, so I didn't have to miss any school, and it was nice because I got to spend the whole summer with him. You know, we were roommates, you know, for the summer, and traveling around and making the film for about 3 or 4 weeks, I guess it was. But so no, it was a very enjoyable experience for me.
And of course, it's also a film who deals with music, because Clint Eastwood's character is a country itinerant music, and you play his nephew. But so it's a whole story built around music and
Well, it's about him making a trip to Nashville to try and be discovered as a country music star in the 1930s. So yeah, it was nice because I got to actually meet quite a few interesting country music legends, and Marty Robbins was one, and who unfortunately, actually, I think he passed away just before the film was released. He was very excited about being in the film, because he actually has a part, you know, a small part in the movie, but unfortunately, I think he passed away just before it was released, which was kind of sad. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to see everyone.
Yeah, but of course, jazz music is the common ground of most of his films, and also of your work, I think.
Yeah, well, both my parents are big jazz fans. You know, he grew up, he taught himself piano, listening to records, and you know, my grandmother was a very big music fan and jazz fan, and so my mother is as well, and so I grew up, you know, in the house with a lot of music, a lot of jazz music in particular, and watching a lot of movies. So that was sort of my two passions, was music and the cinema.
And when did you decide to become a musician? And
well, I started playing music when I was young, just for fun, really. You know, I started on piano, and then I actually learned a little bit of guitar for Honky Tonk Man, and because there's a little bit, I had to play a few chords anyway in the film, but and then I started playing the bass a couple of years after that, I didn't think I was going to be a professional musician until I was maybe 18 or 19, so a little later. But I was kind of, entertaining the idea of maybe trying to be a film director, when I was a teenager. But by the time I got to be 18 or 19, music had kind of taken over, and I realized music was too strong. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
And I think, I'm not sure, but I think that The Rookie was the first film for which you composed music.
Yeah, that's right, I think. You've done your homework.
Yeah.
I think that was the very first piece of music I wrote some music for, just for one scene that he needed, and it was kind of a gradual process. I started writing little bits and pieces for some of his films, and then sort of gradually worked my way up to writing more and more until I was doing the whole score for this one. Although he actually wrote quite a bit. He wrote the main theme for this for Gran Torino at the piano. He had like a little melody idea, and Michael Stevens and I took it and sort of turned it into a song, and sort of fleshed it out and turned it into a song. And I had lived in London for about a year and a half and had got to know Jamie Cullum and his brother Ben, who's a very good musician, and had worked with them a little bit. And so I had the idea maybe to let Jamie read the script and see if he would come up with some ideas for some lyrics or anything. So I gave Jamie the script and he read it, and I think maybe a week later he had all the words written, and I gave him a copy of the little song that we'd written, and he put it all together, and we recorded it in my father's living room, actually on his piano, and that's actually what you hear in the film is actually,
Because it's very beautiful, the end of the film with this, it's like a murmúrio. It's a whisper. It's a kind of it's
kind of like a lullaby. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. We did a version with my father singing it in the Walt Kowalski voice, and but yeah, Jamie's version that you hear in the film was we recorded it in my father's living room on the piano, and then we added strings a little bit later, but it came together sort of very organically, very naturally. So.
But do you usually work with the script already, or did you wait and see the editing of the film and construct the music?
It's different sometimes. Sometimes I read the script first, or sometimes I just see the film, after it's been cut together, at least is a rough cut, at least, and get ideas from there. Usually you watch the film and sort of pick out some scenes that you think are the most important, that need music. They're the most important musically, and then start from there. You sit down at the piano and try and develop a theme that you think that supports the characters and supports the sort of emotional feel of the film.
Yeah. And do you do that in dialogue with him?
Yeah, usually when I worked with him, we've sat down together and we watched the film through, or watched the rough cut through, and we talk about which scenes might be the most important. Maybe sort of pick 3 or 4 scenes that are the most important, and that's where you start out at anyway.
Yeah, I think you also worked in a film of your sister Alison.
I did music for 2 films actually that she directed.
Is it the same process?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, with hers films, I read the script as well, and then got a chance to watch the film with her, and talked with her about what she, because every director sort of hears something in their head, what they think it should sound like, and sometimes you agree with that, and sometimes you don't. It depends on how they hear it, or sometimes the director he'll take music that he likes from another movie and put it to the film and say, oh, I like the way this sort of looks, but can you do something that sort of sounds like that, and sometimes it works and sometimes, so you have to sort of come to an understanding.
Yeah, but it's something that you like to do, music for.
I do, yeah. I mean, it's a totally different type of music making than doing jazz or doing, making your own albums and things like that. That's film music's obviously you're writing music that's supporting what's on the screen, and it's much more supportive role, and so and there's a lot more sort of rules to follow, and things, but yeah, it's a different kind of challenge. I enjoy it.
Can I ask you if you have a favorite of the Clint Eastwood filmography of his
I like this one very much. I think one of my favorites though is The Outlaw Josie Wales is always one that I have a sort of soft spot for in my heart. This one, but yeah, I like that one. I like Mystic River very much. I mean, of course, I like the first Dirty Harry and some of the the Italian westerns are great, but yeah, The Outlaw Josie Wales is quite a nice one, I thought,
And I noticed that you were born probably the same year that he founded Malpaso Company, which is yeah, it was funny to notice that because all his career, well, not career, all his work has been built around, as a director and actor-director, has been built around the Malpaso Company. Is that kind of a family thing in a way of friends and accomplices and?
Well, I mean, one of his oldest friends was working for Malpaso since near the beginning. Actually, someone he grew up with since when they were in school together. Actually, Fritz Maines was a producer for the company for quite a long time. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, he used a lot of the same crew over the years. I mean, many of them are retired now because he's been doing this for a long time, but like in the 70s, through the 70s, there was a lot of the same crew always working for him. So he kind of developed a sort of very well, as they say, sort of well-oiled machine, to work on the films, and they all knew the pace of how he liked to work, and so that was sort of his process for quite a few years.
What is your most, or one of the most cherished memories of films as a child?
That's a good question. I mean, certainly working on Honky Tonk Man was nice, because as I said, I get to spend, more about a month or so or more, working with him and spending the summer with him. Because I mean, growing up, he was away like a lot of the time. He'd be around for a while and then go away for a couple months to work on a film. So Honky Tonk Man was a lot of fun, and this film was a lot of fun to work on. It was. I was very happy with the way the film came out and the way the music sort of fit together with it. I thought it came out very well. And Letters from Iwo Jima was one that I was very, very, very proud to have worked on. I think the music came out very nicely on that one, I think, and it's a good film as well. So I have little memories, sentimental memories on quite a few of them, but
Yeah. But apart from his own films, what did you see when you were a kid with him? I don't know if did you see films with your father?
Sure, yeah. I mean, growing up, he had a lot of videotapes. People would give him like collections of videotapes. So he would, we'd watch a movie sometimes. If I'd spend time with him in the summer or on vacation, we'd watch movies, and then we'd watch like a more newer movie, and then he'd say, okay, we're going to watch that movie, but then after that, you have to watch a movie that I choose. So he'd make me watch something from like the 1940s or 50s or something that he grew up watching. So it was. So I got a good, cinema education in that respect.
Just like a music education.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same because he played me a lot of records and turned me on to a lot of music growing up. So. Sure. I mean, certain directors do that. My sister did that on one film, on one of the films I worked on with her, but Normally not with my father, no. I mean, sometimes he'll have like an idea, like a melody, these little melodies written on the piano. So, and then he'll want to incorporate that or use it in a theme or use it as the main theme. But he doesn't usually put in temporary music from other films. But I mean, it's pretty common. A lot of directors do that. You know, they put in music from another film or a piece of music that they like, you know, from something. But not so much with him, though. The most challenging, I guess, you know, just finding something that fits, you know, like finding a, you know, like I said, you pick like sort of the most important scenes that you think that need music and try and find a theme, you know, that sort of complements the film or complements a character or you know, just finding that initial sort of melody that you think is like that sort of is going to be the main theme of the film. That's probably the most challenging thing to do is that, I think. And then, I mean, I don't know, like I said also as well that, you know, there's a film music, you have to like sort of fit it in the places, you know, where it needs to go and then not get in the way of dialogue sometimes, and then things have to fall in certain, you know, you want things to fall in certain cuts or things like that, and it's not always in the most natural musical place sometimes, so that's the biggest challenge about doing film music, I think. Well, I mean, with my dad, I know how he likes to work, so that's kind of makes it a little easier. You know, I know what he likes, and I know what sort of pace he likes to work at, and we usually have, you know, we have similar taste in music sometimes, so that sort of makes it a little easier. You know, other directors sometimes, if I, you know, sometimes they have an idea of the ways it should sound, and you don't really agree with it, so you have to convince them that the way you like it is the way it should be, really.
Do you listen to records together?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, we did a lot when I was much younger, you know, and yeah, sometimes. I mean, more often now, I'll find something, or I'll turn him on to some new music, you know, or something that I like, you know. So now I'm trying to show him music, introduce him to music, but yeah, sometimes, yeah, certainly. If we're like home, if it's the holidays or something, we'll put on music, and we talk about music a lot, you know.
And if he wants to play something which is not new, what is going to be his kind of usual pick?
Well, he likes, you know, a lot of big band stuff, and then, you know, sort of jazz from the sort of 1940s, 50s, you know, yeah, and yeah, I mean, like, you know,
Roberta Flack.
Roberta Flack, yeah, I mean, yeah, he likes Roberta Flack. I mean, yeah, he likes a lot of jazz from the sort of 1950s and, you know, 40s, 50s, and then he likes some, like, you know, he likes Ray Charles and you know, like sort of R&B, a bit old R&B, and a little bit of Johnny Cash thrown in there sometimes. You know. Yeah.
Are you working on some other project? A film project, I mean, of course you're...
I'm not working on any film project right now. Well, the project I'm doing right now is actually a tribute to him. It's sort of a jazz quintet with a full symphony orchestra, and we're playing music from all through his career, you know. So we've done sort of rearrangements and reimagining sort of a lot of the music from his films. So it's we started off with doing some of the Italian westerns up until, like, we do the music from this film, and so it's sort of a retrospective of all the music from his entire career, but done reinterpreted jazz meets the symphony sort of.
Did you went with him to the Monterey Jazz Festival, which we see in Play Misty for Me?
Oh, in Play Misty for Me, yeah, sure. That was, I think, the very first concert I think I remember going to was 1977, maybe, I think. The Count Basie Big Band. He took me when I was 9 or 10 years old, and because he had been going since the very first one in 1958. I think he was there for the first one, and I grew up just like 10 minutes down the road from where the festival is, and then I played there quite a few, like maybe 7 or 8 times now over the years. So yeah, that was a big part of my musical heritage, I guess, is this festival. Yeah.
So, which character of your father do you prefer when you think about them all? Because well, he had made such different kind of characters. Really, we relate him to, of course, the lonely cowboy, the solitary cowboy, and then the violent cowboy. But then he was so many other characters, and so much complex ones.
Yeah, I don't. That's a tough question, really. I mean, I like a lot of them, but I mean, the one that's probably the most like him in real life is I can't remember the character's name. Kincaid, Robert, the one from Bridges in Madison County. That's probably the one I see of most of his real personality, and I think is the most really that's like him. But obviously, he's not really like Harry Callahan, like the Harry character,
But there
are there's bits and pieces of his real personality in all of them, a little bit. But certainly his sense of humor comes through in quite a few of them. But I don't know. I mean, I like it's hard for me to choose just one, really. I mean, I like quite a few of the films, so it's a hard one to just pick one.
So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me. Thank you all. Thank you for coming.